And here is this week's installment of Ezekiel Kralen's story about the two little dogs. This one is titled, Stop Smoking That Crap, all in capital letters with a bang mark on the end of it. Ezekiel Kralen wrote, Email correspondence, June 28th, 2023. Subject, Deke's late night disruption and beyond. Continued. To my surprise, he didn't oppose me, I guess because he sensed he'd better not, or he'd have my fury to pay. Talk about ruining what should always be a joyful encounter. He's very good at that. An expert, even. At any rate, the rest of the visit went fine, as did a later meet-up that same day. The usual doggy feeding, laying down a blanket, and some affectionate bonding, along with recharging a few devices and putting different rap songs on his chip, though he didn't ask me to sit them either time, just hanged out for 1 hour in the morning and 2 that evening. Today, the same thing, only he visited just once and didn't bring a bike with him. Very enjoyable meet-up, and I got to sit by the pups for a while as he nodded off now and then with Flacco in his lap. She seemed to show great concern, as every few minutes she'd look up at his face once he dozed off, give it a couple of licks, then bump her nose against his baseball cap, sometimes knocking it to the ground, to get his attention, like she was doing wellness checks on him, seeing as he had smoked some crystal while sitting there, and which glass pipe she seemed to stare at with disapproval. Sometimes she'll bark at him like crazy when he picks up that pipe and starts smoking, though she didn't this time. After a while, he gently pushed her aside so he could focus on rolling a blunt. Twice she tried to force herself back onto his lap, but he shooed her away. I pulled her to me, whereupon she gladly sat on my lap while closely observing her master. After around 20 minutes, I decided to return upstairs. So instructed Flacco to get on the blanket by giving it a few pats. She did, and I continued to pet her there until a minute later she rolled on her back for belly rubs, and I gladly complied. I also made sure to give her brother my attention, too, who rested against my thigh, so used my other hand to scritch him up and down his spine. She still watched Deke, though, as he diddled with rolling paper, more shake and loose tobacco, and every time I raised my hand from her furry body as a gesture that I'm leaving, she'd flick her head in my direction and look up at me as if to say, I'm worried about him. Is there anything we can do to make him stop smoking that crap? She did this a few times, so I lingered there to give her more hugs and kisses until she finally calmed down enough to allow me to get up and leave without her pleading gaze. She was obviously trying to communicate something to me, though maybe I'm misinterpreting the message, but I'll be damned if she weren't in some way letting me know she cares about him very much. If Deke only realized he has the two most wonderful mutts on the planet for his best friends and guardians, he'd be incurably happy and never lash them to a wobbly bicycle or in any other way show them less than boundless love and respect. He was out there maybe 45 minutes before, calling up to me to bring the speaker back downstairs because he's ready to leave, so 4 visits in less than a week so far, mostly amicable, but for yesterday's horrific bicycle incident, which left a dark cloud over my head that still lingers, but has cleared up somewhat, thanks to today's peaceful get-together, signed Zeke K. Holmes. P.S. My attorney emailed me yesterday with the question, I am checking in with you to see if your rent was accepted for June. I, of course, told her yes. It was cashed, as my checking account shows. However, she has yet to reply to my query of May 31st. I presume my 10-month payment from the escrow account has been cashed by a blah-blah by now. This is a bit disturbing. To be continued.